this part of the JavaScript tutorials, we're going to talk about if statements. So I'm going to create a new file and call it if statement.js, and then I'm also going to create a file for, so we had array functions, a file for the HTML, and I'm going to call this if.html, and inside of it I'm going to enter the name of if statement, if statement.js. Save this, and so let's get into the if statement.js. So if statement in JavaScript, like any other languages, we have a condition, and if that condition holds, then we have an operation on our variables, or we're going to print something, or we're going to do any other kind of operation that we can do inside of a block. So the general way that we write an if statement inside of in JavaScript, we write the condition inside of the parentheses, and then we have the blocks, and then inside of the block we have the condition. So for example, here we want to talk about the age gap. So let us first say age equals 19 or 22, and if condition, our condition is if age is greater than 18, then inside of the block we can print you are authorized to enter, and you can also add else for the condition that is opposite to the first condition. So we have another block for else, and you can say print. So actually here we don't have print, we have console log. So let's fix this, console log, and here also console log, console.log, and here we can say your age is not greater than 18, and you are not authorized. So there we go. And we also have if else, and I'm going to else if, and we're going to talk about it in the next example. Here we have if, which is the condition, and else for the condition other than the first condition. So let's save the code, and we have if.html. So let's find it in our folder here, if.html. So there we go. And so let's inspect the elements and look inside the console. So it says you are authorized to enter because the age is greater than 22, greater than 18. So 22 greater than 18, and the user is authorized. So imagine that we have different age gaps, and we want to know which one of them the user is, and do some certain operations for the users, show something, or write something on the HTML elements. So here we can test it by console log, but so let's first, if age is greater than 15 and age, and here we use and for having two conditions that should be together, should be there together, should hold together so that we can enter inside of this block. So if age is smaller than 18, and we can also say equal and greater or equal than 15, and then we can have the block. So print, actually console.log. Print is for Python and console.log is for JavaScript. So here we can write console.log and then you are between 15 and 18. And then in the next one, we can write else if, and then we have another condition. So it's not the complementary condition to this one. Here with else, we had complementary condition to 18. So it was the opposite of 18. But here with else if, we have another condition, but not necessarily the complementary or opposite to this condition. So else if age, but actually it does not include this condition. Okay, so if age is smaller than 15, or we can say greater than 11, and age is smaller than, by the way, for and we use JavaScript, we use to and here with this sign, and we have the age that is smaller than 20. Then we have the code block here. So inside of the code block, we can write console.log, and we can say that you are a teenager. However, the first one is also a teenager, so I can say that you are a teenager and your age, and you are between 15 and 18. Can also have another age gap. So here I can say the age actually stages. So else if and age is greater than 20, and yeah, that's suffice. So, and then in this condition I can write console.log you are can also add something like and here, and I can say age is smaller than, for example, 60. So here you are a teenager, and for the next one I can say you are an adult. And then I can say else for every other condition except for these three conditions. So we had between 15 and 18, we had, if that didn't happen, we had 11 and 20. And by the way, this condition is prioritized. And the reason is it is at first. So what happens here if the age is between 15 and 18 it will do the operation and it will not check else if. Okay, so here, those of you who are familiar with switch case statement in languages like C, here we don't have switch case, and instead of that we use else if. And here there is this priority for if statement. So if you don't want to prioritize them, you still need to work on the priority, because all of these conditions will be checked one by one, and if any one of them is hold to be true, then if this one holds, then you will not enter this one. So it should be very careful about that and manage it in a very good way as a developer. So for example, here between age of 15 and 18 are also teenagers. So I've written here, you are a teenager and your age, and you are between 15 and 18. Also here, the next one, if the age is between 11 and 20, it says you are a teenager. Okay, but if I had written between 11 and 20 before 15 and 18, it wouldn't have covered the specificity of 15 and 18, the age between 15 and 18. So the more general one here is we've put it for the first option. Actually, the more specific one is put for the first option, because the general one also contains the less general one. So it is totally up to you, and we can say if any one of them is more prioritized than the other, but you should be very careful about the priorities. And also here for the else, we have covered most of the age gaps, and what we haven't covered is for the ages that are greater. And also let me cover another one. So else if, and we have forgot to cover one condition. So if age is greater than 60, we can here say tab console log. Here we can say that you seem to be an old person. And then else, for else we can say that console log, and then we can say you are a child, or you are a kid. So the only condition that we haven't covered is for the kids, so we don't have to write else if and then say that, for example, the age is less than 11, right? So here you can also, no, that's better, it's better to write greater than 11. And for the ages that are from 0 to 11, we can say you are a kid. Or we can also have another condition and say that if the age is between 1 to 4, you are a baby, right? Or between 1 to 2, I'm not sure. So anyway, let's save the code and here write 5. Save the code and refresh the page. So you are a kid. And we can say your age is not greater than 18. You're not authorized. You are a kid. So let us change the age to 70 and save the code. You are authorized to enter. You seem to be an old person. Great. So let us write 34. Save the code and refresh the page. You are authorized to enter. You're not an adult. You are an adult. So Let us change the age to 17. Save the code, refresh the page, and your age is not greater than 18 and you're not authorized. You're a teenager and you're between 15 and 18. So let us enter 12, save the code, and then refresh the page. Your age is not greater than 18 and you're not authorized. You're a teenager. Great. So here we go. So we've covered everything about the if statement. So there's something to add here. So here you learned about if statement, else if, and else, when to use it and how to use them, and also different conditions that can be different operators that can be used inside of the if statement. Notice that the output of whatever inside the parentheses is of the boolean type. So if it holds true, it will enter the if statement or else if or whatever that is. So here we use the operators that we use for boolean. We have and, we have or, and we have stuff like greater than or smaller than, greater equal or smaller equal, and so on. So this is the way we generally use an if statement.